We're now being joined by Everest Naji, also a member of the People's Democratic Party in Enugu State, and I believe he's coming from the other side. Mr. Naji, welcome.
Thank you.
You were at the primaries organized or that were won by Senator Inconsistencies.
Yes, I was.
You listened to our last guest.
Yes.
What's your take?
Well, it's just so confusing. Yes, he talked quite confidently, but it just don't, add up. First of all, the question should be, who is a candidate? Rather, who is a delegate? To say who is a delegate is like to say, who is a voter? What makes you a voter? What makes you to vote in Nigerian elections? You must have a PVC, you must have your data captured, you must have a PVC, that's voter's card. That's what makes you a voter. So also, the same thing goes to ask, who is a delegate? What qualifies someone to vote in a primary election? The PDP constitution and the guideline is very clear on that. It says there must be a Congress to be held at the wards where three-man ad hoc delegates, will emerge. And then to do that, you have to buy PDP form, pay money, fill in your membership card, and also fill in your voter's card. When you have this thing, then you can qualify to stand for the delegate election. And then on the day of the Congress, you come out and people queue behind you, and then if you win, that day you become one of the delegates, and you have 3 delegates per ward in the whole of the 260 wards in Enugu State. On the day of this Congress election, our members came out all over the state and won overwhelmingly. And when that happened, and they saw that they won't have enough delegate to produce the anointed aspirant to make him a candidate on the days of primaries. What did they do that day? They went out saying there was no Congress at all. They even went to court to stop, to have PDP to cancel the Congress election so they can have another one where they could try again to see if they could make enough delegate.
They went to court?
They went to court.
Did they get a judgment?
What? Now, we also did to stop them from canceling that Congress election. And then we succeeded in having judgment that says, because how did it happen? When they complained, PDP sent ad hoc delegate election appeal panel to Enugu to investigate what happened on that day. They came that day, they look at what we did, listen to people's complaint. Oh, well, we came out, we waited for too long, we're in the sun and all that. And they said, look, this is not enough to cancel this Congress election. For that, they upheld it. And they took it back to the National Working Committee, the leadership of the party. And they said, okay, if that was what happened, then the Congress election, subsists. And then in that way, of course, we had gone to court at that time to make sure they don't cancel the Congress. And then they didn't cancel the Congress. And also the delegates produced that day.
What was the judgment you got in court?
What?
What judgment did you get in court?
We got a judgment saying, one, that on the November 1, the Congress was held and it was peaceful.
Okay.
And then, of course, the list produced out of the delegates after the election should be upheld. Which
is part of what he said too.
Okay.
So, but he mentioned some other things that were struck out: 2, 3, 4, 5. Those
things are irrelevant.
Irrelevant.
They're irrelevant.
Okay, so you got a court judgment.
Yes.
They also went to court. Did they get a court judgment?
They didn't.
They didn't. But you got a court judgment.
We did.
And you went ahead with the primaries.
And then on the day of the primaries, listen to this. The primaries primaries committee panel led by His Highness Asara A. Asara was at Enugu. And then in the morning, before the briefing, our members had gone to the stadium to do accreditation. And of course, they turned them back. They told them they cannot vote. And when I say members, I'm talking about 2 senatorial zones, members from 2 senatorial zones, out of 3 senatorial zones in Enugu. I will tell you why it is 2. It should have been 3. Now, they turned them back. And then they called Senator Yogos and said, look, we're not allowed into the stadium. They say we cannot vote today. And the senator said, okay, we're going to meet the panel now. And for that, just find somewhere and organize yourself. Don't go into fighting. Don't go into scuffling. We don't want to throw chairs and throw punches. Our democracy should grow better than that. And then we went out there. At the panel briefing, the chairman said to the members, after addressing the members, my candidate stood up and said, sir, my members went to the stadium to do accreditation. They were turned back, and they were not allowed. They're not allowed into the stadium. Therefore, that means they're not going to participate. And then, sir, can I see the list of delegates you are going to use to conduct these primaries? And the man said, yes, I have my list, but I can't give it to you. He said, okay, but why can't you give it? Because I just need to be sure that what I have is what you have. Because what we have came from the court. The court certified it, and there's a certified true copy on each page protecting the names from the court of Nigeria. High Court, for that matter.
You didn't bring a copy of the delegates list that you had that was...
we have it.
That was stamped, certified, true copy. But from what we hear, we understand that the court says they cannot take jurisdiction over, delegates list or no delegates list. And that is within the purview of political parties.
Let me tell you that. Let me just explain. I finished the other explanations. Now, at that juncture, the PDP, the primary chairman, rather, His Highness Asara, now asked the man to take his own list and compare with what he has, just to be sure that it is same, because his people are being turned back from the stadium. And then he took the list and began to open it page to page and got to some point and waited and said to him, look, I'm sorry. What I have is not is not the same as what you gave me. I can see what you gave me has a certified true copy from the High Court of Nigeria, Abuja, but what I have is not the same. And I'm sorry I don't have this. If I had this, I would have used it. And this thing is happening in the presence of TV cameras. Including your camera. I don't know if you should have that.
Just a moment. A copy from the court in Abuja?
Yes. That says these are the delegate lists.
How is that possible?
Because we went to court with the list of the people produced from the delegates.
You went to a court in Abuja?
Yeah, sure, we did.
Because some people will say that, but this is for a matter that's happening in Enugu. How was Abuja involved? Is that not outside the jurisdiction of the court in Abuja?
No, it's not. I mean, it's not outside the jurisdiction because PDP is a national party. You can operate from Abuja or Enugu. It doesn't matter. High Court is High Court. Whether Enugu or Abuja, it doesn't matter.
On the other hand, who should have the list, the delegate list? Is it from the party or the court?
Well, the court, of course, has. If you go to the court now, you can get a certified true copy.
But the chairman of the
panel,
Primaries committee,
yes,
was given a list from the party headquarters.
Yes, they smuggled a list into his hand. He was surprised.
Wait, who smuggled the list? The National Working Committee?
You're going to find who they are later. Go ahead.
No, who smuggled the list? The National Working Committee smuggled the list into his hand?
It cannot be national. It's the secretariat. You can't tell. Secretariat is, you never can tell. But the man confessed that what I have is not this very list from the court. If I had this, I would have used it. But I'm sorry, I can't take yours. But what I have is not the same.
Okay, so is it at that point that your candidate decided to have his own primaries at somewhere else?
At that point, he addressed the chairman and said, look, if you are going to conduct the primaries with fake delegate list, I have the authentic delegates, and they are waiting for me somewhere, and I'm going to go and meet them. And then instead of going to the stadium to fight and all that fracas, we said, no, there's no need. We'll go in there, and the people by themselves voluntarily, in their own volition, elected their candidates.